Yo, we back. All right. Music back on. All right, I got a backlog, and this will be fun. To me, are we ready? Bread types. Bread is literally the best food. It just is. I love bread. Any bread enjoyers? This was suggested to me, and I couldn't help myself. Let's be honest. Does there even need to be an F tier at all? I mean, technically. Trash. Just for fun. Alright. Let's start out with the... Let's see. F, rice is better? Damn. I love rice. But I like bread too. What's just a prime example of a clear S tier? Uncontroversial. We need to define our outer limits, right? Let's go for the croissant. Hard S. No ifs, ands, or buts. Uncontroversial. All the thin layers. The slightly crisp outside. Right out of the oven. Don't need it. Like some bread you want to put butter on, or you want to put stuff on it. Croissant needs none of that. You have this warm little horseshoe of goodness in your hands. The mist kind of rising up from it. It needs nothing. You just eat it. Now, people do make shit with croissants. Like, I've had sandwiches that use croissants and, you know, blah, you can do all that, but you just don't need to. It almost ruins it in a sense, just because it's so simple and pure. I love croissants. S tier. Easy. American sweetbread you buy in the supermarket is an F. It's a loaf of bread for $1 from a factory. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like American cheese. I take offense. I live in Wisconsin, okay? We make cheese. And you got Brit bongers and Europeans and Japanese, just all these other countries. Cubans, Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. And they be like, American cheese is trash. And they think that's what cheese is like in America because of Kraft singles. Bro, that shit costs 50 cents. It's made out of rubber. I don't even know if it's a food. We actually do make real cheese. And it's very good. I will defend this. Wisconsin is well known for its cheeses. I mean, we got farms. They raise goats. They make cheese out of the goat milk. The goats eat grass and shit. It's real ass cheese, okay? Trust. Anyway. Is there even a can I even find a trash? No, let's just keep it. All right. So here we have the bagel, okay? Bagels are kind of like how do I put this? Bagels are kind of like corned beef. All right? There's corned beef. And then there's corned beef made by a Jew. Or basically anyone from a series of region. Like it's very different. There's like cultural bagels and cultural corned beef. And then there's like your average bagel. I've been to New York. I've had New York bagels, New York roast beef, big old fucking pickle. So delicious, but it's just different, right? These, unlike croissants, are kind of like a sandwich thing. I find them to be difficult to eat in an annoying way. They're a little tough. The outside is kind of rough to go at. It has a little snap to it, you know, when you're pulling it away from your teeth. I don't like this. To me, all of that is a downside. You put some salmon on it, Lux, put some roe, some fish egg, sour cream. You can put all sorts of shit on a bagel to make it goddamn delicious. But the delivery method, right out of the oven, New York style, maybe A or B. But in general, I'm gonna dock you some points for being hard to eat. You're hard to eat. You're down to a C. Next. You did not see this coming. How long can I wait? Is anyone suspecting? I was about to like talk about the Hawaiian rolls, but obviously I'm trolling you. B minimum. Shit's delicious. It's true what I said though. I am docking it points for being kind of hard to eat. If you wait a little too long, the outer shell becomes too hard. Actually fucking annoying, but B tier is like the floor. They're good. B for bagel. Or bagel, if you want to say it wrong. Next up, we have Hawaiian rolls. I love Hawaiian rolls. They're pretty simple. There's not much to them. But they're goddamn delicious. Melody bagel moment. I don't know what that moment is, and I don't know who you're talking about. You Brited it. Anyway, Hawaiian rolls are the shit. I like a dinner roll. It's so plain and simple and arguably really boring. I still like it. That's bread, bro. Shit's great. The stuff you buy in the supermarket in a pack of 20, that's not really what I'm talking about. The slurp. Love Hawaiian rolls. Oatmeal bread. Who? Whose man is this? I don't think I've ever explicitly had oatmeal bread on purpose. Maybe I'm not cultured enough. I've never had oatmeal bread. Maybe I have and I just didn't notice. I'm not sure. I have had breads that are very dense and dry, sort of like hiking bread and stuff. That shit's delicious. Maybe it's kind of like that. I'm just not sure. Feels like sandwich bread to me. But I won't rate it because I haven't had it. Rye bread. I like rye bread. It's got this... I don't want to say sour because that's sourdough, right? But maybe it's the flavor of rye. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what rye exactly is. Is it a type of grain? I don't know. I've had rye bread. I find it satisfying. It is a type of grain? Okay. I'm going to put it in B, I think. I would probably prefer it over a bagel just from texture and hardness alone. The shit you put on bagels is kind of doing a lot of heavy lifting here because it's delicious. But yeah, I like rye bread. I'm a fan. Brioche. Holy shit. A tier. Brioche is so good. It's fun to pull apart. Soft. Kind of chewy. Nice. What would you call it? Nice butter painted top. To me, S tier. It's actually really good. Love brioche. Brioche burger buns. Cinnamon Raiz bagel is win. We'll get to it. I think I see some cinnamon stuff down here and some Raiz. Next we got whole wheat bread. It's trash. It doesn't taste particularly good. It's the least good tasting bread ever. I don't see what the appeal is. At times, it can have sort of a mealy, rustic kind of experience, which, if I'm in the mood for it, is quite nice. And so I think, in my opinion, whole wheat is essentially trash, but it's trash of the bread tier list. And so it's still bread. And trash bread is literally C tier. Because that's how overpowered bread is. Even the shit bread is like C tier, because you can be in a nice mood for it, and it's delicious. Next we got banana bread. Damn. A little childish, but damn good. Very heavy, a little bit dense. Feels like banana bread, for those that haven't had it, you get an intense smell of banana aura, and it's a little extra moist than normal bread, and it has a density equivalent to something like pound cake, I would say. I would describe it as banana pound cake with a little bit of a moist outside, masquerading as bread instead of kind of maybe like a cake, which it almost is. This shit is so good. Is it S tier? Or is it A tier? I'm not sure. It's either S or A. Same with brie. I think maybe I would do this. I like brioche, but banana bread is almost a cake. It's cheating, but it's really fucking good. Also, farmer's market, you get it fresh. There's 2 or 3 places at the Madison Farmer's Market makes banana bread, and they are good at it. Hell yeah, brother. Cornbread? Jesus. Okay, here's the thing about cornbread. There's a lot of different local spins on what it means to be cornbread, and there's a lot of different textures involved. They're all fucking good, first of all. The ones that are the least good are dry and a little crumbly. I tend to like the ones that are more moist. And I used to live in Arizona, Tempe. And those fucking Mexicans would make cornbread. And they would put habanero, like just a big old slice of habanero on the bottom of the pan. And so when you're eating the cornbread, it just has, as if glued to the bottom of it, a habanero. Put some honey and butter on that. You get that spicy. Oh, so fucking good. Never put it past Mexicans to take a food and then make it just fucking better by making it spicy. You can have shit cornbread. It's possible. But I think I would, if we're talking about good, I would put cornbread above banana bread. I'd do it. To me, croissant is maybe the king of all breads, but we'll go through it. You hate dry, crumbly cornbread? I hate dry. What is this, the sand Star Wars meme? You like half sweet cake, half dry bread. You've never had cornbread. It's so delicious, I think. Some of them even have, there's like corn kernels all throughout. Maybe a jalapeno or a habanero. You tend to eat it with butter and honey. Or with a bunch of sort of New Orleans kind of gumbo and succotash, and just scoop it up next to like spicy barbecue or crawdads or just all sorts of stuff. It's so good. And a lot of southern places make it a lot differently, and it's all good. Northerners hate it, Southerners love it, the great polarizer. I think that's grits. Most Northerners who have any sort of culture at all understand that cornbread is delicious. Even Northerners like cornbread. But for me, the split between North and South is grits. If you're from the South, you like grits. If you're from the North, you think grits are what people eat on the spaceship of the Matrix, where it's just like ground up bugs, you know? Next up we got cinnamon bread, which is, to me, this is a gimmick. I don't have a lot of respect for cinnamon bread. I think it's a gimmick. It's always dry. You took a cinnamon roll and you removed the best parts. Like a true cinnamon roll. What's good about a cinnamon roll? It's basically a cake. There's cinnamon in it, and there's frosting, and it's very moist. What if we got rid of the moistness? We made the cake part more like a loaf of bread. No frosting. And the cinnamon part isn't like a goo. It's more just like kind of dry cinnamon attached to parts of the bread. Cinnamon bread is a scam. It's like you could have been a cinnamon roll, and instead you are worse in every measurable way. It's trash. Which means it's like B tier. Made for people who hate fun and demand their sweets be mild. You better get French toast with cinnamon. Oh, baby. Yeah, it only kind of works for breakfast. You have some coffee. I mean, it's like a coffee cake substitute. You put some butter on it. I don't know, man. Croissants are C tier. Brain damage. But let's read on. The French pretend it's French, but it's actually Austrian. You can't support it being that high unless the French admit their lies. Luckily, I'm from America, the great melting pot of diversity, which is our strength. What does diversity really mean when we say diversity is our strength? It means we reach our mighty hand outside of our country, and grab anything that's amazing and pull it back to our company and be like, look at that shit, right? And so croissants are amazing. I don't give a shit if it's from France or Austria. Those two countries can fight over who invented it. I don't give a fuck. It's delicious. And so we capture it and we sell it. Can't tell if that was an intentional slip or not. Just a little memeing. But I gotta be careful with those because some people like actually believe that stuff and it's cringe. But anyway, let's talk about biscuits. Speaking of grits, speaking of words with more syllables than they really needs to be in them. Let's talk about the humble biscuit. Often seen with gravy, but not always. Often seen with honey and butter next to fried chicken, but not always. Often seen next to grits, but not always. Usually a breakfast thing. Or brunch if you're rich enough to do something like that. I've had so many terrible biscuits. Terrible, dry, sour tasting, pointless flour on the outside of it, ass biscuits in my life. It's so common that I'm trying to divorce my experiences with biscuits from what a good ass biscuit really is. That's hard. I'm gonna have to put it in A tier. Okay? The average Hawaiian roll shits on the average biscuit, but the average biscuit is trash, made poorly. We can't, are we comparing the worst cornbread I've ever had to the best banana bread? No. Okay, well then biscuits are A tier. But you gotta be careful. You can't just order biscuits at any old place. You gotta get to know them first. But then they're so good. Biscuit topper for chicken pot pie. Hell yeah, brother. Sausage and egg biscuits. Grandma's biscuits. Yeah, little abuelo biscuits. Gravy. White gravy or brown? Turkey or other? Generally with biscuits it's white, I've seen, but not always. Shit on a shingle is delicious, but that's not biscuits, it's more of an open-faced sandwich from back during the wartime. I've had shit on a shingle. My grandma made it, and she was alive for that war. You've had casseroles that had a biscuit layer topping, and it whacks hard to not eat just the biscuit part off the top, because it's absorbed a little bit of all that stuff underneath, right? Yeah, shit on a shingle was wartime. It's delicious, though. Alright, now we got yeast bread. I was to understand that yeast was a normal part of bread. Am I supposed to look this up? What's specifically... What's yeast bread? I thought yeast was just what you use to bake bread. It's the fucking bacteria that causes bread to rise, right? What is yeast bread? Yeast breads are made of fermentation of wheat and rye flour. Sorry, not bacteria, fungus. Generally S. cerevisiae. Sourdough breads are fermented with lactic and bacteria. You can make bread out of, like, beer foam. I think that's what it is. Okay. Maybe I've had this, but I haven't heard it described like that before. So I'm gonna have to say who. I'm not clear enough to be able to rate. Next up. English muffin. Alright. The English muffin is, so far as I've seen on this tier list so far, the most, I can't think of anything good to say about it. There's nothing good about an English muffin. It doesn't taste good. It just doesn't. It's kind of like the Swiss cheese of bread. You open it up and there's more air than there is bread in there. It's trash. And it's got a whole bunch of sand that they put on top of it to kind of cut your mouth up a little bit. It's trash. And it's got an unpleasant-ish, sour-ish taste, rather than a pleasant one like rye or sourdough. Yeah, English muffins are literally trash. I think this is the only legitimate trash that we will find on the bread tier list. I didn't think we would find any at all, but here we are. England, can you explain this? Is this... Ingoland. Is this your American cheese? Where it's just like we call it an English muffin, but you're not responsible for it? And it's just some shit, you know? I don't want to be unfair to the English. Ingorandu. Yeah. You would eat most breads by themselves, never an English muffin. Yeah, never. I mean, people put like ham and cheese and an egg on it, you know, and try to have it be a breakfast thing. That's shit. It's like overrated. That's not even good. It spills out everywhere. I would rather just take the ham, egg, and cheese, put it on a plate, and get a real bread on the side. It would be better. We won the war. We can be mean to English. World War II. Oh, you mean independence. Yeah, well, fair enough. We did tell their king to go fuck off, so. And the reason for that was English muffins. Also tea, I guess, and taxes. Potato bread. I like potato bread. Some of the cheapest bread I think we make is technically potato bread, but I'm not really talking about that. I like potato bread. It's just like some of the most classic bread. It's not particularly interesting, but it's good. It's good sandwich bread. Same with rye. These are sandwich breads. Rye has more character to it, so maybe I'll put it like that. But it's fine. And bread that's fine and kind of a sandwich bread is still B tier because bread's so good. Next up, cinnamon raisin bread. Dude. What lobbyists does Big Cinnamon Bread have for this tier list? We have 2 different cinnamon breads. I wouldn't have even included any. They must have had lobbying to get in here. Cinnamon raisin bread, huh? This has more of a reason to exist than this does. This is just like a sad version. Actually, the more I talk about it, the more I lose respect for it. Whole wheat is literally better. Cinnamon raisin bread is just cinnamon bread, except with a point. It has a reason to exist. It's kind of nice. It's a good breakfast thing. I would put it above a bagel. It's also definitely a gimmick, though. So I don't have too much respect for it. It's a gimmick. Next up we got flatbread. Okay, there's a lot of different flatbreads, and I was about to start naming them, but it looks like we have them down here. Pita, naan, flour tortilla. Wait, flour tortilla, but no corn tortilla? Okay, fine. So this is just like the most generic version of flatbread ever? Okay. Alright. Flatbread is mid. It's mid. It's alright. But I mean, I've had like Afghani flatbread, which is pita. I think they use pita bread for it. Absolutely delicious with hummus. But it's really a hummus delivery method, you know. And they have pita bread down here already. Flatbread like pizza bread? Well, we can't bring pizza into this now. Anyway, without knowing exactly what this is, it's mid, and I see the rest of the other ones down here. We got tortilla. Now, this is the one, probably the only controversial take I will have, alright? Tortillas are trash. I can't even decide which one's worse, an English muffin or a tortilla. It's hardly even bread. It's like a piece of paper you're supposed to wrap around. So it's the worst bread. It's kind of gross. Soft shell tacos are decent, so I guess it's better than an English muffin. I'm gonna put it in D tier. As far as bread is concerned, it's the saddest, shittiest bread ever. Yeah, you can make a burrito out of it. In the same way that you could take flatbread and make an entire fucking pizza, but that's so different, right? Like, man, tortillas are so good because you can add 6 other ingredients, which is 99% of the food by volume in the thing I'm eating, and technically have tortillas wrapped around it. I don't know. How many pity points are we getting this thing? It's trash. Well, it's a D tier. I'm not impressed. You ever had a wrap in a tortilla? Yeah, it's actually gross. If you try to make like a wrap or a sandwich or something out of this, it's gross. How you're supposed to wrap a burrito in rye? No, you're supposed to wrap a tortilla so that you have the food called burrito, and the most boring, slightly weird tasting, least interesting, least good part of it is the tortilla. And it's also by volume like 1% of the food that you're eating. It's hella D tier. Isn't yeast bread just regular bread you buy from the shop? I thought so too, and I looked it up, and it kind of seems like that. If you want to consider this just your average white bread, then it's like slightly better than a cinnamon roll, I suppose, if we want to do that. Next we got sourdough, a real American tradition. Sourdough bread is pretty goated. I like it a lot. I gotta be in the mood for it. But damn if it isn't somewhere chilling in the A tier, I think. I'm looking at S tier, and brioche is looking like the odd man out of these 4, but we'll keep going with it for now. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for sourdough, and I'm never not in the mood for any of these. Then again, what does that matter? I think it's S. I think sourdough is like the lowest S for me. Maybe this is what I do. Is banana bread cheating? Is it like a cake? I'm gonna do this until I revisit. Maybe it's the gatekeeper of S tier. I love sourdough bread. Next up we have garlic bread. Alright? Garlic bread. Now this one is also a gimmick. It's cheating a little bit too. Just like cinnamon raisin bread and cinnamon bread, garlic bread is cheating. This shit is bread. This is bread, okay? A croissant is bread. This is bread that you've put other food into. Similar to this. That's why it's cheating a little bit. Same with, I guess, banana bread and cornbread. Also, garlic bread is overrated, and social media wise, maybe they don't do it so much anymore, but there was a period of time where people had garlic bread be kind of part of their personality. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't let that get in the way of anything. Alright, well, first of all, garlic bread is overrated. And yet it's still S tier. Can we agree on that? Hella overrated, but still S tier. French bread. I like French bread. To me, French bread is like fancy yeast bread, I guess. I don't know. I love French bread. There's so many different. I've had French bread that's basically just Wonder Bread, and then I've had French bread that you can pull apart, and they're just very different things. It strikes me as maybe the gatekeeper of B tier. Because it's good, but it's really just like a little bit better potato bread, yeast bread, you know. Has a little bit of a tang to it. Just a touch. Which I don't find necessarily satisfying, but it's delicious still. Good dipping in soups. Next up, pita bread. Alright. As far as I'm concerned, there's two types of pita breads. One pita bread you get from a really good Middle Eastern restaurant. It's got hummus, chickpea paste. Absolutely delectable. Put that shit on a tray. I could go to an Afghani place. You can keep your kebabs, keep your saffron rice. Just give me pitas and hummus for the next 2 hours, and we're good. Or you can make essentially like Greek tacos out of it, kinda, where you just put some lamb in there and some weird celery white kind of sauce. I don't even know what that thing is. You can make gyros out of it, gyros, if you will. And all that shit is mid as fuck. Pita bread itself, damn, it's like somewhere in this B or C tier. It's like okay, but the things that you commonly pair it with are so goated that it makes you think that pita bread is better than it really is. B tier. Maybe some baba ganoush. If it's more Palestinian or Israeli, filled with shawarma. Yeah, all that, to me, all that stuff's mid. Like gyros, hella mid food. The middiest of mid. But that's just me. I'll eat it, but I like a little more... I like the Middle Eastern stuff as you move east a little bit. Next, we got the humble breadstick. I don't know if I've ever had a high-quality breadstick in my life. Not to say that they don't exist. I'm just saying the only breadsticks I've ever interacted with are, like, cheap. And some breadsticks are basically just garlic bread in tube format, which I'm not complaining about. Those are good. Yeah, like your Olive Garden, your fucking Fazoli's, if you're taking a step down from even Olive Garden. I mean, if they're covered in fucking garlic butter, I'm gonna eat it, but they're like mid. I won't not eat it, okay? But it's kind of mid. Next. Pumpernickel bread. It's the whole wheat bread that we have at home. Again, this is like trail bread to me. You go on a hike, you have a sandwich. It's got kind of a rustic, dry feel to it. When you want your bread to taste like something for a sandwich, but I ain't trying to eat it, you know. Mid. We got zucchini bread. Now, I don't like zucchini. I think zucchini is gross. However, zucchini bread is actually quite delicious. I'm gonna put it somewhere up here, probably, in the B tier. You never had it? It's very moist, and it just doesn't taste like what you think it would taste like, you know? I would recommend it, even if you don't like zucchini. I don't like zucchini. If people are like, hey, I'm gonna make food and I'm gonna put zucchini in it, I'll be like, why? But zucchini bread was a surprise. It was a surprise. All right, now we got naan bread. Okay, in the tortilla family, got tortillas, got pita bread, got flatbread, got naan. There can be only one. The Highlander of flat things. Someone's got to be the best. And it's naan. It's a shame the entirety of Indian cuisine has nothing worthwhile to put onto a naan bread. But it's still a great type of bread. It's somewhere up in A tier. Do I like it more than a really good biscuit? Honestly, probably. Yeah. And if only the country of India could come up with anything remotely palatable to eat besides naan bread. But they haven't figured it out. They got this curry thing, that was a mistake. They got a bunch of vegetarian shit that's gross. Yeah, just nothing worthwhile, sadly. What? Feels like some B's should be higher ranked than some of the A's. We'll work it out. We always naturally work things out. Always taste is 100% compromised. The only country in the whole world whose food like legitimately sucks is India. That's it. Everybody else has some redeeming quality to it. I don't know. It's nuts. Hard Midwest take. Don't put this on YouTube. It's gonna cost you lots of subs. Surely they won't care. How many India viewers do I have? Well, actually, it wouldn't be Indian viewers. They can take a joke. It would be the Brits. The Brits whose food is so boring that they have made it part of their personality to eat Indian food all the time, and their brain doesn't work, and so they think it's good because English food sucks that much. Look, I understand the position you're in, but you gotta try it. You could try anywhere else. I can't believe what I've just heard. All right, now we got pretzel bread. Pretzel bread's great. Makes excellent hamburger buns, as a matter of fact. Big fan. It's got a satisfying outer shell, not hard or crunchy at all. The whole thing is soft. It's fun. I think it's basically like it feels like a potato bread with a humdinger on the outside of it, but that shit's super good. I'm putting it high B. I like pretzel bread. Only ever as a delivery system for meat, pretty much. Like a bratwurst or a burger, you know, something like that. Not really ever trying to eat pretzel bread for any reason that otherwise. But still quite nice. You could swear you rated Indian in like a top 10 food list? No. I wouldn't. I would never. No. The only food more like legitimately awful would be like Japanese breakfast food. I think it's probably the worst. Traditional Japanese breakfast food is literally the worst food on the planet. There's just nothing redeeming about it. It's actually gross. Now, Japan makes up for this because sushi is so good, and every other meal is there's so much Japanese cuisine that's like S tier amazing. But breakfast, don't even wake up for it. Sleep through it. It'll be more enjoyable. Yeah, let's have pickled vegetables, a fucking egg that hasn't been cooked, and some fermented soy paste swirled around some rice. You're eating it, it looks like bug juice. Ugh. Horrible. Somebody get these people 2 eggs sunny side up. Introduce them to sausage, maybe even hash browns. Get somebody over there. Any other country? Yeah, I think that's probably the worst. The biggest failure cuisine-wise of any country in the world is probably Japanese traditional breakfast food. After that, it's the whole country of India for all of their food except for naan bread. And after that, damn, it's a toss-up. Everybody else does a great job. We got whole grain bread. This is good trail food. It's dry. It's got seeds and shit in it. It's annoying to eat. Granules looking like some silt at the bottom of pond-ass bird feeder stuff. Which means it's just very good for going on hikes. And, you know, camping, fishing style sandwich bread. Also, it's got all those different sized molecules in there. And big chunks of seed and stuff. It makes it more difficult to digest, which is a good thing. You actually want your body to spend more time digesting stuff. You don't want it to be too easy. You know, you give it a challenge. That's unironically good for you. Less processed stuff. So I'm gonna put it up there in the like whole wheat bread. Whole grain bread is just, we have whole grain bread at home, but it's whole wheat. You know, like we're gonna put it up here. This is like the I'm taking it hiking kind of bread, I guess. Tier list. You're Korean, but you can't stand kimchi. You feel like a race traitor. Oh no, I like kimchi. I'll defend it. It kind of depends. Look, it smells terrible. I will be the first one to admit that. And if olfactory is going to affect the flavor of your food as just a kind of a personal thing. A lot of people don't really have the stomach for kimchi. I like it, but I understand not liking it. It's fine. Just joined. Thank you for putting English muffins in trash. That's because they are. No two ways around it. You like Korean food, but you also hate using scissors as a utensil. If I had to criticize Korean food, it's that they give it to you 66% prepared. And then you gotta do the last 33%. You know, they want you to do some work to like finish the food, and that can be a fun experience, but sometimes it's just kind of a pain. You know, how's focaccia not on the list? Actually, true. Oh, here we got white bread. D tier. Yeah, it's. I mean, you can get a loaf of this bread for $1. You get what you pay for. I don't know what to tell you. It's the kind of bread that is dry, and yet you can take it in your hands and mold it into about the size, like a sphere like this big of kind of a Play-Doh texture to it. I don't know. Maybe you could do that with other bread, but I don't know. I think it's better in a tortilla. Is it just C? Even this shit. Look, you got 2 pieces of white blue bunny white bread that your grandma is making you lunch because you came over to her house to mow the lawn because she can't mow the lawn anymore. So she gets out 2 pieces of blue bunny, some fucking horseradish mayo, some like, I guess like liverwurst spread to put on the other half of it, some sort of onion thing, you know, to give it some crunch, and a piece of sharp cheddar right on top. Here you go, Sonny. Some Braunschweiger sandwich, right? There you go. That's, I mean, it tastes like 1985, doesn't it? And that's better than a flour tortilla. And it's more honest than cinnamon bread. Cinnamon bread is a double agent, a secret agent. Where's the Turkish bread at? True. There's a lot of breads that I'm noticing are missing from here. I don't think I've had butter bread. What's butter bread? It looks a little bit like banana bread. I've had pumpkin bread, which this looks like a little bit. It's essentially the same thing as banana bread. You just make it out of pumpkin, but... And then there's 2 different... Okay, both of them are just called butter bread. What's... There's butter bread and then Comic Sans butter bread? What is this? I think it's just bread with butter. Well, putting butter on bread is like an S tier combination. So, I mean, sure. Like the act of putting butter onto bread, yeah, I guess that's S tier, right? That's just true, you know? Fair enough. You got me. It's baked into it. That's what a croissant is. A croissant is like a katana. Folded steel bread. Alright? Folded in between butter 1,000 times until you've cooked it into a croissant. And if the master who made it was skilled enough, the croissant could cut off the heads of 5 men. You can call it a five head croissant. So yeah, I guess I'm not sure what they exactly mean by these 2. I'll put them here. Like butter in it. Butter bread is a wheat bread enriched by added quantities of butter in the recipe. Well, okay. Recipes for basic breads, sometimes known as lean breads, include flour. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Chat GPT. I appreciate it. Okay. So it's butter, or it's bread that contains butter. I haven't had it, I guess. Perhaps I have. It sounds good, but I'll put it down here. Now, is there anything crazy wrong in this list? You think they called it French bread in this list? Treats lol. Treats is in the chat. Jesus. I've seen Michelin star chefs use white bread. It has a place, for sure. Naan is not S tier. Naan not in S tier is cooked. Okay. I like naan bread. Strong A. Let's see. All right. What could be improved about this list here? These are all the shit. I'll put zucchini bread up here. Pretzel bread is a B. French bread is a B. Pita. Lower bread. Let's see. Potato, cinnamon raisin. Bagel. An actual bagel. Whole grain, pumpernickel. Whole wheat flat yeast, white, and cinnamon bread. Here's the thing about breadsticks. If the breadstick is basically garlic bread, it's good. If the breadstick is not basically garlic bread, it's kind of trash. I mean, so I'm gonna say breadsticks are going down. Maybe like that. I like whole grain, pumpernickel, whole wheat. These are good for hiking and trailblazing. Actually, like, I legitimately like them, though. Yeah. B tier is like would choose to eat on purpose. I for sure would do that. Not so much whole wheat. There's whole grain, and then, oh, Mom, can we have whole grain bread? We have it at home. It's whole wheat bread. Brioche was an S tier. It got booted. Yeah, the more I come back to brioche, the more it suffers from me coming back to it. So, I mean, stick around. Pita bread. Look, pita bread is really good, but only because hummus is really good. I think I'm overrating it. These three, yeah, maybe we can condense these three, the trail breads. Pretzel breads are kind of only good for burgers. What type of bagel are we talking about? Just a really good bagel. The shit you put on bagels are delicious. The bagel itself is quite tasty. If you go to New York and get an ethnic bagel, it's way better. But still kind of annoying to eat. Too tough for my tastes. The outer shell is too... And bagels, it's in full plate, and I'm not good at armor pen when it comes to eating. So it suffers for that reason. If it was just flavor, then it would be higher in the list. Naan, Hawaiian, biscuit, zucchini, brioche, all this shit. Banana bread shouldn't even be on the list. It's kind of a cake. And I expressed my thoughts on that when we got to it. Banana bread is kind of a cake, but so is cornbread. And depending on the type of zucchini bread you have, a little bit there too. Also, cinnamon raisin bread. It's not really a type of bread, it's just bread that they put ingredients into, so that's kind of cheating as well. But I let her slide. Can you make a sandwich out of it? Make a sandwich out of all of these. Except maybe breadsticks. Yep, this is it, the final tier list. Croissant is the king of all breads. Also, where's my Japanese milk bread? Where my milk bread bros at? That shit's S tier easy. Dude, milk bread is so fucking good. Where's bread pudding? That has the word bread in it. That shit's pretty good. Banana bread warmed up with butter. The most posh thing my broke ass can do. go to, well, okay, or you could make it Midwestern and be like, what if banana bread had miniature chocolate chips in it? That's technically bread, right, guys? Wisconsin. Also, where's hardtack? Where's hardtack? That's technically bread. That got... Hardtack got half the world through half the wars in the world. Anyway, croissant king, cornbread, so good, sourdough, garlic, banana. And then A tier is naan, Hawaiian biscuit, zucchini, brioche, pretzel French, good camping sandwich breads all throughout. Really good and has good stuff to put on it, just hard to eat. Boring, but still fine for toast. Trying too hard, also kind of a gimmick, also kind of cheating. And then like the mid breads. Just the kind of mid breads. You can still do cool stuff with it because it's fucking bread. You toast it, put butter on it, get yourself a cup of coffee. That shit is amazing, whether it's yeast bread or white bread or whole wheat or whatever the fuck, right? And then there's flour tortilla, which is just sad, doesn't taste very good. And then English muffins, which not only don't taste very good, but they're like actively trying to harm you. And then some stuff I haven't tried, but I'm sure is delicious. Bread tier list. Heywoah is pie crust bread. No. No, I don't think so. It depends. There's different ways to make pie crust. I guess. You can make like a pie crust crumble or something. That's not bread. If you make dough, I think you have a decent argument that it could be bread. Then again, cookie dough is dough, and cookies aren't bread, so. And I was going to say it has to rise to be bread, but that's not technically true, because there's bread that doesn't rise. Super dense breads that I've had. They're actually pretty decent. Just go well with soups and stuff. The crepes count as bread. No, I think they count as a pancake that's just better. Like, you took the idea of a pancake, and you're like, what if this shit was, like, way better? And voila, you have the crepe. Focaccia is on that list. S tier, easy. Hold on, let me look this up. That's such a familiar focaccia. Is this the Italian thing that... Oh, is this the ancestor of pizza? No, it's not. I've had focaccia. Now that I look at this. Look at this. I've had this. It looked basically exactly like this, for the most part. Yeah, I've had this before. My mom makes this shit. It's trash. I'm kidding. But I'm not kidding too much. It's not great. It's the quintessential Italian kind of food, where it's like an ancient, kind of shitty version of something that America giga improved upon, and like, they pretend that it's good as a coping mechanism, and then say that theirs is the only real type of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, Italy invented pizza. You invented some flatbread that literally sucks. Chill. We've improved it. Buy Italian subs. I'm just trying to get different countries to type in chat. We worked on the Indians for a little while. Now we're moving over to Italians. Worked on the Japanese a little bit, but nobody really wanted to go to bat for their breakfast because it's too gross. You have to eat it fresh? Well, I mean, that's every bread. Every single bread is literally twice as good if it's right out of the oven. That's just a given. That's physics. That's science. Focaccia being bad is almost S tier bad take alongside all Indian food sucks. Look, I'm right about every single bread on here. Okay? Could it be that I'm right about just that one other take, you know? And it is you who is wrong? Could it be? Could it just be that a billion people are wrong? Alright, hey, good tier list. That was fun. Bread tier. I think we have another one saved up, but it's a magic one. I don't know if this isn't a magic stream, is it? Focaccia is mid as fuck? It is. It just is, yeah. Not particularly great tasting bread doused in olive oil featuring whole vegetables kind of cooked on top of it. Just not enjoyable. It's like someone disassembled all the parts of what could be a pizza and then like reassembled it like Picasso, and it's just kind of like gross. Don't like it. Had it before. Awesome tier list, thanks. The Arc. I'm not responsible for the tier list. Somebody else made it. I just did it. Pizza crust, generally... Pizza crust is like okay, you know. Pizza crust is not like a tortilla, where a tortilla is just nothing. It's nothing actually slightly not enjoyable tasting. Pizza crust and pizza bread is like decent bread, and then they do something really cool with it. But, you know. Do you have the superpower tier list? No, I don't. I haven't saved it on the tab. There were like a million of them. Too many. Every time used in focaccia could be used to make tomato soup and bread or grilled cheese. Delicious. Quite delicious. Next.